85 metres.
That is fantastic jumping.
Days of competition in the diving pool began with the men's synchronised 3-metre springboard final. England's Jack Law, on the right, had won individual gold on the 1-metre board the previous evening and teamed up with Anthony Harding here.
Lovely, perfect timing. The only difference was Jack Law went a bit further out from the springboard, but both touched their feet at the same time, came out at the same time, grabbed and hit the water at the same time.
Xixin Li already had a silver medal to his name, and together with TikTok sensation Sam Fricker, was keen to go one better in this event. The Australian pair were lying third after round one.
They've done well to finish it at the same time. You can see in their hurdles there was a bit of timing issues because Sam is so much taller. He is struggling to get the same height that Sam gets purely just with his body weight.
Uitza Liang on the right is the only Malaysian diver to have won a Commonwealth Games gold medal. 8 years on, he and Chu Yi Wei were second going into round two.
Oh, you can tell these two have been diving together for a long time, working as a unit.
Malaysia were also represented by Mohamed Pute and Gabriel Gilbert Daim.
3.0, inward 2.5 somersaults.
Excellent dive from the Malaysian pair. Both individually, they both did very clean dives, but you can see they're rotating at exactly the same pace.
So Law and Harding well clear at the halfway stage, with the Malaysian pairings battling it out for the silver. To round four, and Scotland's Ross Beattie and James Heatley.
Get this right and they could project themselves into second place.
Individually, lovely dives from both of them. Ross, you can see, gets so much more height, but also more distance.
2 7.5s on execution, 70.20.
The Australians were in fifth place at the conclusion of round four. With just 2 dives to come, it was time to make a move.
Individually, they were both great inward 2.5 pikes, rotating at slightly different times. They took off from the board at different times. Their goal was to try and hit the water at the same time, to try and compensate for their size differences.
67.50, not quite what they wanted marks-wise.
Pute and Gilbert Daim were next to dive. They were in the bronze medal position.
Well, they rotate at slightly different times. I think you will see that Gabriel, closest to the screen, twists much sooner than Pute, and consequently finishes that twist much sooner.
Yeah, marks will be 67.50 for Pute and Gilbert Daim.
Law was already closing in on a third straight gold medal in this event, and he and Harding impressed again in round 5.
Here's the forward 4.5, and if you haven't seen this before, you won't believe you can get 4.5 somersaults into a 3-metre board, but they do.
That is spectacular. I mean, Jack had trouble on his hurdle. You'll see his toes were hanging over the end, but has done really well to pop it back up into the air, so much so that I think he even got slightly higher off the board than Harding did.
Believe it or not, they have done it better, and they've got over 100 marks on this before. Not today.
As for their nearest challengers,
Chu and Yui have a reverse 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists.
Oh dear, we have a hit on the board. I think Chu Wei had trouble with his hurdle and went straight over the top. You can see very close, and he's going to hit his feet right now. It hurts. It really hurts.
End of round 5. 1 to come. And a bit of a change here. England, Malaysia, Australia.
First to go in round 6 were the Australians.
This is their forward 2.5 with 2 twists to round off.
And actually, with the 2 twists, it matches up a lot better with Shixin because they spend more of the time in the air twisting.
Lee and Fricker into the lead, so could Pute and Gilbert Daim respond. Theirs, though, was a lower tariff dive than the Australians.
Bear in mind, to see the 75.4, they'll need to be in and around that number for that second place.
Lovely synchronization in the timing. However, when we look at the diver closest to the screen, he's really kicked out a bit too early, dropped his legs, and there's a big banana back right there.
That is just enough to take them into the lead, though, above the Australians by just over 2 points.
Law and Harding ended the competition with the biggest dive there is on the 3-metre board.
Forward 2.5 somersaults, 3 twists. It'll be a blur. That's what it'll be. This will nail the gold medal if they can do it.
Well, it's a synchronized blur, and it was a very pretty blur. That is a lot of twists to fit in, and Jack has slightly under-rotated. They've both slightly under-rotated their dives. Jack a little bit more so.
They can't be caught. They cannot now be caught.
Scotland's Beattie and Heatley were still in with a chance of a medal, but needed to score 80 with their final dive if they were to overhaul Lee and Fricker.
Ross has struggled a little bit on his hurdle. You'll see he was quite far back and maybe on the side of the springboard as well. So one foot was in front of the other.
Right, it's not going to be a medal for them. 4th place.
Another gold then for Jack Law, this time with Anthony Harding. Pute and Gilbert Daim took the silver, and Lee and Fricker the bronze.